Hello everyone. The microbe I chose for this project is the measles virus, the morphology and arrangement of measles virus. According to the World Health Organization, measles virus is a perimyxovirus belonging to the genus Morbillivirus. It is a pleomorphic virus ranging between 100 and 300 diameter. The measles genome consists of 15,894 nucleotides. Some vary in genome length. The virus has a single, non-segmented, negative-sense RNA genome with a linear arrangement of genes that are separated by an intergenic nucleotide, GAA. The location. Measles continues to be a deadly virus around the globe. Due to the lack of vaccinations, people mostly get infected in the United States by a traveler who is not vaccinated, and therefore can spread it to others. Measles virus is viable for less than 2 hours at ambient temperatures on surfaces and objects, while the aerosolized virus remains infectious for 30 minutes or more. How does this virus cause disease? Measles is highly contagious. The virus is spread by droplets when a person infected coughs or sneezes, also by direct contact of a person infected. According to the CDC, measles is so contagious that if one person is infected, then about 90% of the people around them who are not immune will also become infected. Also, CDC states that a person with measles can also be contagious from up to 4 days before through 4 days after the rash appears. The virus also lasts in the air up to 4 hours, which sounds scarily familiar, right? It almost sounds like corona. Phases of pathogenicity. The virus enters hosts through the respiratory tract, where it then infects myeloid or lymphoid cells and the mucociliary epithelium or the alveolar spaces. It can also enter through the conjunctiva or eyes. The second stage is systematic dissemination. Infected immune cells migrate to nearby tertiary lymphoid tissues and draining lymph nodes, where they transmit the virus to lymphocytes. During viremia, which is like the microbe entering the blood, infected cells enter the circulation and migrate systematically to various organs and tissues. Infection of skin-resistant immune cells result in virus transmission to epithelial cells. A few days later, depletion of immune cells in lymphoid organs and tissues results in immune suppression. MV-specific T cells infiltrate the skin where they clean the infected cells, which results in the typical measles skin rash. The third stage of MV infection is the transmission of new MV particles in the air. Epithelial cells in the upper and lower respiratory tract epithelium produces new virus particles and releases them into the mucous lining. The lumen of the respiratory tract. Epithelial damage in the infected lymphoid tissues, such as tonsils, releases virus particles produced by the lymphocytes into the upper respiratory tract. Epithelial damage in the lower respiratory tract induces cough, enhancing the discharge of aerosols containing MV particles. Ways the microbe invades to cause infection. The World Health Organization states that 2-envelope glycoproteins are important in pathogenicity, which are F fusion protein, which is responsible for fusion of virus to hosts, cell membranes, viral penetration, and hemolysis. The H hemagglutinin protein, which is responsible for binding of the virus to cells. Signs and symptoms of disease. CDC states that symptoms do not appear until 7 to 14 days after infection. meaning like you're asymptomatic for that time, but you're still contagious. Unlike some may think, measles does not just consist of a rash. Symptoms usually begin with a fever, cough, runny nose, red, watery eyes. Then 2 to 3 days after symptoms begin, tiny white spots start to appear inside mouth. 3 to 5 days after symptoms begin, they break out in a rash that first starts out around the hairline or face, then spreads to the rest of the body. When rash appears, the person infected may get a high fever. Also, complications can arise, and you can get pneumonia, or it can go to your brain and cause brain damage, which is what makes it so fatal. Treatment. There really is no treatment for measles. Being that it is a viral infection, medications are not effective. According to CDC, children should be treated with vitamin A immediately upon diagnosis. Besides that, the only thing you can do to relieve your symptoms is like taking ibuprofen for your fever or putting a cream on your rash. But yeah, the best way to prevent the infection is really by getting vaccinated. Like your kids, or if you don't have it, to revaccinate yourself. So, recent news on measles. Measles is still an ongoing issue among us. The UN News reported that in 2019, the measles killed more than 207,500 people last year due to failure of vaccinations. This was the highest number of cases in 23 years. There was fewer cases in 2020, although since the COVID-19 pandemic, the push for measles vaccinations has slowed down, with more than 94 million people at risk of missing measles vaccinations in 26 countries that have paused their vaccination campaigns. Including many countries with ongoing outbreaks. Measles has not gone away, and we need to prevent it by making sure we are vaccinated. Which is just like COVID. And throughout this whole research project, I really realized like they are very similar. And it's scary. I mean, I really thought that COVID was the only like virus that was that deadly. Well, I know Ebola and stuff and other viruses are too, but yeah, we just need to get vaccinated. And it was very interesting researching measles because I didn't know that it was that deadly. And yeah, thank you.